So this is Steve, and I'm here with Paula Hughes, who is the Allen County Council President. We're going to talk a little bit today about land banking. I guess I should also announce or mention that you've announced that you're running for mayor of Fort Wayne next year.
I'm wrapping up my tenure on county council. It's been a interesting 8 years, that's for sure.
A lot of accomplishments.
Well, we've gotten a lot done, and it feels good. Yeah. Well, so you want to talk about land banking?
Talk about land banking. Kind of explain what it is and the ins and outs of it. And
when we started with, and land banking is kind of an odd term, and really all it's meant is that you are setting aside land for a specific purpose. And in this instance, it would be government purchasing land, and we are focusing on land that is already zoned industrial, but is targeted, but is currently farmland and targeted for future development. And we started several years ago. The state had something they called a shovel-ready site program, where they designated certain industrial sites throughout the state and said, yes, this is a site that has gone through all the checks and all the soil tests and the title work and the surveying and flood zone designation and this long list of things. And yes, this property, if a business wanted to locate here, is shovel ready, meaning that if they bought it, they could turn ground the next day and be ready to start doing their project. So it's a way of expediting the process. For Allen County, our involvement in doing land banking, the city of Fort Wayne and the Allen County Airport Authority both already have land that they have designated and purchased for industrial use. So they have their own land banking, if you will. The county's just kind of getting into the game. And our intent is that we are identifying land, and we will purchase land that is intended for commerce, whether it be industrial manufacturing or a large service company. We're hoping to have at least 200 contiguous acres. Ideally, we'd have 250. And we would purchase this ground to really show the world that we are ready and interested in bringing business to the community, because the world has changed in the way that what companies look for. When they're looking for a new location, they look all over the world. If they decide they want the United States, then they look at regions of the United States, and maybe they like Northeast Indiana because it's great for logistics, or because there are existing defense industry clusters here, or other manufacturing options here. Something appeals to them about Northeast Indiana. They pretty rarely drill down to the county or the city level until they've already gone through that sort of identification, and then they say, well, what land is available? And for them, available means the transportation infrastructure is in place, the utility infrastructure, water, sewer, oil, gas lines, electricity, railroad many times. They want to know that all that's in place, and they have a much quicker timeline. 20 years ago, when GM looked and located in Allen County, they spent months assembling the land. I mean, that's a 2,000 acre parcel. They spent months assembling that, and the railroad built a new line, spur in for them, and they spend that time on it, and it doesn't work like that anymore. So this is our attempt to make Allen County competitive in that environment, saying, yes, we in Allen County, we've had the land, but by us purchasing it ahead of time, putting the infrastructure in place, and making it truly ready to go, kind of shovel ready, then it kind of sends that signal of, sign on the dotted line, and you can turn ground and get your project going in a very streamlined manner. One of the things we've learned the hard way, we have in the past made big infrastructure improvements. And the reason I feel so strongly about us purchasing the land ahead of time, and I know that there are some critics of that approach, but Allen County in the past has made major infrastructure improvements, both with utilities and with transportation, roads and streets. For example, out in the GM area, we made these big improvements, spent about $1 million of public money improving the area, but we didn't purchase the land. And what happened was the private property owners that owned the land that was ideal for development upped the price to where it was cost prohibitive for a company to buy that land. So we made all these investments. The landowners didn't do anything to improve the value of their property, but they increased their price based on what the government had done. So we kind of worked against ourselves. When Vera Bradley and Backguard established their firms, they approached us. We wound up paying twice because we made the infrastructure improvements. that made the land more valuable, and then we helped the company buy down the value of the land because that's where they wanted to go. And I just kind of had this feeling in my stomach, like, not again, not on my watch. We're not going to double pay for something. So by buying the land ahead of time, then making the infrastructure improvements, we're actually making it a more efficient and affordable proposition down the road. And we're all ready. They don't have to go through negotiations with a private sector landowner.
Mm-hmm. So this really is about staying competitive.
Absolutely.
And it's really about, if we don't do it, there's another area, another region that's going to, and we're going to lose out.
Yeah, and you don't have to go that far to find it. Whitley County has done it. The northern counties have done it. There are some, like I said, both the city of Fort Wayne and Allen County Airport Authority have done it. They've done it in smaller plots. They have industrial parks that are really geared towards a 10 to 20 acre lot. We want to have that, at least the beginnings of a super site available for somebody. So again, if a plant is looking, they at least keep us in consideration. If we don't have that land already assembled and most of the infrastructure already in place, they're not even going to give us a second glance.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way the game has changed. So right or wrong, I think it's a good investment for us to make. As a part of this process, the council and the county commissioners and the county redevelopment commission came together, and we set aside $5 million to fund the project. We did that without a specific land purchase in mind. We just thought that was a good seed amount to start the program. We're going through the process right as of today. We have 2 accepted offers. We have gone through and we are purchasing 2 of the 3 parcels that are available in the old Silverado Park area. Mm-hmm. That area that I talked about out across from GM, where Vera Bradley and Backyard are. There were still some large lots available, and we bought them at a competitive price. We did not buy the 3rd parcel because they would not become competitive in their price, so we're going to let them sit on the market for a while longer. We want to be wise fiscal stewards of the public tax dollar. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna let them sit there and until they realize we're serious and that we're not going to pay what we think is an exorbitant asking price. And we'll go along. I would like to see some diversity in the land that's available. That's a great site right there along 69. I'd like to see us go out maybe closer to the airport in some areas, or maybe east of 469. I would love it if eventually we would have land in this program on the stretch of Highway 30 heading towards Columbia City and to Warsaw, mm-hmm. because we know that biomedical companies are looking at Fort Wayne and at this region. They like Warsaw. Maybe they don't have to be exactly in Warsaw, but they want to be nearby. Highway 30 makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of those folks that work in one of the Warsaw biomedical companies but live in Fort Wayne.
So the target is for a super site. It's not about maybe an industrial park so much.
The target is we don't want to do just 10 and 20 acres at a time. The ideal is that we have a short, medium, and long-term program in mind where we're going to accumulate land over time that would become a super site. There may be some exceptions to that. This cleanup, what I think of as cleanup in terms of purchasing the parcels in Silverado Park, was a way to kind of bring some closure to that. So we have those ready, and that's I think we have, with the 2 parcels, we had a total of 140 acres. So that's still a decent amount of land grouped together and ready. But I think that the redevelopment commission is going to continue to meet on this, and I think our next target will be looking at a place where we can get at least 200 acres together.
Mm-hmm. One of the criticisms or critical points that I've heard about this is, the sentiment is that taxpayers are on the hook mm-hmm. for the land. Mm-hmm. How would you respond to that?
Well, and that is very true. The taxpayers are on the hook. But we are doing everything we can in this process to make sure that we're buying it right. We're not paying exorbitant prices. And if we don't make this investment as a community now, then we will continue to be passed by as companies look at where they're going to locate their new branch. And I think that even though it's an investment now and there is a risk in that investment, you don't get the return of having a major company locate here without taking a little bit of risk on it. And in my mind, it's justified. And in the rest of the council and the commissioners, the redevelopment commission's mind, we know that that's what other communities are doing to make themselves attractive. So mm-hmm. we think of it as investing in our future.
Mm-hmm. And we can point to GM, to Vera Bradley,
that's right.
to Backyard.
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about the land banking that?
No, I know it's I've heard lots of the pros and cons on it, but I feel very strongly this is the right thing for us to do at this time in our community. It's a good time to buy the land because prices are depressed a little bit, and we also, it positions us well as the economy starts to recover. It will eventually recover. We are going to be in a position to take advantage of those opportunities when they come along.